What's your worst injury you've ever had so far?
For me, honestly, is I've had 2 detached retinas.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. And
was one of them for the Leon fight?
No, I had one before that fight. I think it was after, it was from training. I was training one day and I'm sparring, and then all of a sudden, like, I see like black at the top of my eye, and I'm like, rub it, whatever. So I go back to sparring, light sparring, we're moving, we're grappling, and then it's like, it just becomes literally like all black.
Oh,
but like
Jesus.
you can see it, but it's like a film of black over your eye. And I'm like, what the fudge is going on? And then I'm like, all right, well, let me go to the doctor. And then like the doctor just like gives me like a look, and I'm like, he's like, oh yeah, we got to go to surgery immediately. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, what's going on? What's wrong? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, he's like, yeah, you have a detached retina. You could go blind. And I'm like, you're thinking of Michael Bisping and what happened to him, and you're like, you don't know what to do. So then, we go to I had to go like the surgery right away, because he's like, the longer you wait, you're going to lose vision more and more. So they had to like put a bubble in my eye. And then like I still didn't know what it was. So like I'm assuming like once he takes the Band-Aids off, I'm gonna be able to see. So he takes the next month I go in there, get the surgery done, and then like the next Monday I go in there and takes the Band-Aids off, and I'm like, bro, I still can't see. He's like, no, we have to see what it's gonna be like in what it was like 8 to 12 weeks. You're gonna have a bubble in your eye.
Oh.
And you have to like hold your head on a tilt like this.
For 12 weeks?
For 12 weeks. And
so you have to tilt your head sideways for 12 weeks?
Yeah, like you have to keep the bubble in its place so it like lines up the retina, or like seals it back in. And then like I couldn't watch, like I had the massage tables where you have to put your head down, and those, like I had to sit on one of those to watch TV with a mirror that was downward, and it was like pointing up there to the TV, because I couldn't look up like this. Like I had to keep my head down so the pressure's on there. So I'm like, I had to watch TV like this.
You had to watch TV through a hole in a massage table?
Dude, it was, honestly, it was like the most depressing thing that I've ever gone through in my life. And it was like the hardest thing.
Wow.
And it was like one of those things too, where it's like, I'm not one of those guys that like cries wolf or anything. So like I kept it to myself. I didn't even tell my parents or my family. I would just like go to the house with sunglasses on and see them, and then just like avoid seeing them, type thing like that. So then.
So they didn't even know you had a detached retina?
Well, now they know now from here, but. But yeah, it was like, it was rough because you can't do any working out. I'm a guy that works out constantly 2 to 3 times a day. And
so for 12 weeks, you couldn't
12 weeks couldn't do nothing.
Could you even go walk around the block?
No, I could go walk, but
no elevated heart rate?
Not a lot. Yeah, not a lot. So,
wow.
And for like the first 4 weeks, it was just like I had to stay in this specific position the whole time.
Wow.
Yeah, and then like you had to sleep with your head down. Like I'm a back sleeper too, so I had to sleep with my head down on a massage table too, like that. Like I had to stay in that position the whole time, and then like 12 weeks period goes, and like the bubble just like starts shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. So you're always seeing like a little bubble in your eye, and then finally by the 12 weeks it was done. But then he was just like, yeah, like I wouldn't fight anymore.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and then you're like, no, I'm gonna fight. I don't care what you say, type thing. And so then I go back to regular training, and I start wearing like one of those catcher's face masks to like spar in and train in. I'm wearing goggles to train in, roll in, and like I just don't know how it's gonna react once I go back to sparring and hitting hard again.
How long did it take before you felt like confident?
Like the 12-week period was where the bubble was gone, and then probably like maybe like 8 weeks into it after that, where I was trying to get back into shape, getting back to the thing, and finally trying to go hard sparring without the goggles on.
Oof.
Yeah, so it was rough.
Do you remember what you got hit with?
No, and that was the thing. Like I don't remember what specific thing happened to it. So it like didn't make any sense. But like, you get poked in the eye sometime during training or anything, but like you just don't think nothing of it. So you don't really go get checked. But like I never wondered. And so then he just like, it was just constant wear and tear on it. So
did after you got the surgery done, was there a point in time where you're like, hey, I don't know if my career is going to be over here?
That point was during the Leon fight when he poked it, and literally I couldn't see nothing, and I was like, "This is what the doctor said." Yeah, I was like, I'm blind, and I was like, and then you're like, you waited this long to get a main event, you waited this moment, and it just got taken away from you, and you're like, I'm done fighting. And it was just like...
Well, even worse, maybe you can't see now.
Yeah. Well, in that moment, you're just thinking like, dang.
Right.
Like, because fighting is my life for me, and I'm like, this is what I want. This like my goal is to be right here at the top to be a champion. So just like get it taken away from you, I was like not seeing it second nature. I'm like, man, I can't train, I can't fight, I can't do this. So that was like the most heartbreaking thing, and like knowing that probably have to go through it again, not knowing what type of surgery it is. The doctor told me not to do it. Like, you should have stopped. What's wrong with you? And you're like, fudge it. But
how long did it take out? I like how you won't even say fuck.
yeah, that's fair.
How long did it take before your vision came back after that poke?
In the Leon fight, it was like 40 minutes after that. Then I realized that my eye was just like I had to get like 3 stitches under the bottom eyelid, and that's when I realized that my eye was just closed. It wasn't blind, because I didn't realize my eye was like closed. I was like, bro, I'm fucking blind. I'm like, done. But then they're like, the guy's like trying to open it like this, and he's like, do you see any light? And I'm like, I see light, I see light.
Oh.
And then, so then probably when I got back to the hospital, they had to do like stitches in the bottom eyelid. And he was like, don't blink. And I'm like having a stitch there with my eyes getting stitched.
Don't blink.
Yeah, and I was like, what the fudge? And I was like, it was like the worst thing ever. So then, thankfully, I was just like, it wasn't the detached retina again. I was like,
thankfully,
I felt blessed.
But you've had 2 detached retinas?
And it had it in the other eye as well.
When did that one happen?
It was after that one. So
really, after the Leon fight?
Yeah. So after that one, it was after the Luque fight. I mean, not detached retina. What you call it? My lens was detached.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah. So in the 3rd round of the Luque fight, he just like hit me, and I was like, I'm in the corner, and I like feel something like weird in my eye. It's like like a shield in front of it, and I was like, what the fudge? Did it like? I felt like I just got like poked, and I'm trying to rub it, and it's the Tate, the Cub man. He's like, bro, ain't nothing in your eye. Stop playing. And I was like, dude, I feel like something, but I'm like, I still could see a little bit out of there. So I'm like, all right, well, whatever. I'm just gonna keep fighting. So I'm like, I just got to take him down. And it was like I only had 2 rounds left, and I thought I won like the first 3 rounds. So then I was like, all right, well, whatever. And then afterward, I'm like, the doctor's like, well, it doesn't look like there's anything detached or torn in there. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So then I wait till I get back home, and they were like, your lens is, it was like loose. So then I had to have surgery on the lens part of my,
When they do that, are you awake?
No, they put me to sleep. Yeah, they put me